Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Shady Sports and Sports Wave Networks proudly bring to you the pregame report, well, the NFL pregame report. We're here Sunday morning. We got a lot to talk about, a lot going on within the world of the NFL. So, joining your boy Cool McCain today, this guy over here, TJ, solid guy every week, knows stuff about football. So, hey, we at least know one of us does. Just kidding. Just kidding. TJ, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's another Sunday. It's another day full of football, so it's going pretty good for me. How about you?
Oh, I can't complain, man. I'm breaking out the black Jason Kelsey today. Since we lost, whenever we lose, I change jerseys. But even though we won, I'm changing because it's Jason Kelsey jersey. But yeah, man, I hope we can get another win. Hope we can get you know, a lot of good talking today. And it's football. Can't go wrong. So yeah, man,
Exactly.
we'll get this thing started. Yeah, we'll get this thing started, man. So guess we'll first. So this is a topic I don't really delve too much into this type of year, but for those of you give you a little bit behind the scenes on the pregame report, we kind of brainstorm our topics, right? So it's not just what I want to talk about or what teacher or what anybody was talking about. It's like a brainstorming thing. So one of the topics that was proposed was what coaches are on the hot seat already, and will they make it through the season? And there may be a little rewording of what was actually pitched, but you guys get this. It's the same general idea. So TJ, any coaches that you feel like are on the hot seat as of week well going into week 4 of the NFL season?
Well, first off, I would probably have to say Zach Taylor. The Bengals, they're way too talented to be 0-3 right now. I mean, yeah, they've had some injuries and they had with T Higgins and you know uh, Chase and the contract dispute, but I mean, man, after seeing that performance against the Commanders, you got to wonder where they're going. Is the sky falling out there, or are they going to right the ship? And if they don't right it soon enough, are higher ups in the team going to lose patience? Another one I could see would be Sirianni over in Philly. Uh, I know they just came off a huge win, but at times they still seem a little lackluster. And dating back to last season, man, it's like hot and cold constantly on both offense and defensive performances. So those would be my two so far to start off the year.
Yeah, those are two of your better options, to be honest. Um, I think a guy that a lot of people are sleeping on is Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton should be on the hot seat just because you've had a lot. I don't want this guy. I don't want that. I want to bring this guy. I want to bring that guy. I want to do this. I want to do that as the head coach. And obviously, you should have some say, right? And that makes sense. But we're not seeing the production. We're not seeing the success that the name Sean Payton was known for in New Orleans. So the argument is kind of always, is it the quarterback? Is it the head coach? Is it the combination? I feel like it's the combination. And I feel like Sean Payton has gone into situations kind of overvaluing himself and kind of feeling like, hey, I'm the difference maker no matter what, and kind of pumped out chest and whatnot. And not always able to deliver. That team, they did win last week against the Bucks, but that's not a very good team. So depending on how things go, I think this is a guy that could be out after this season. Another guy, they're 2-2, but there's another guy, and that's that guy in Dallas, right? I know it's his last year, so they probably won't do anything with him. But again, you talk about the Eagles, and you're all right. They're up and down. Dallas, one week looks like a world beater. The other 3 weeks, they just don't look good. Like they won. Um, this week, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But just overall, even in the win, they didn't look good. They beat another team whose coach should be on the hot seat, and that's Brian Daboll with the Giants. And it's not that Daboll can't get a job, and I don't believe he's can be an NFL head coach. It's just that certain teams need a certain style of coach, and he's more of an offensive mastermind, a really good quarterback, weapons on offense, a defense that can kind of bend but don't break, that type of thing. And I just don't see that, honestly, from where we're at right now. But guys, we're going to be joined by a couple more people here. So first, we're going to get in Jake. Jake, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Made it in.
Hey man, how's
Ready
it
to
going?
go?
And also,
There he
our
is.
very own Skip has arrived.
Hey, you know I'm coming with all the upsets today. Let's go.
All right, so we're just kind of talking, guys, about some coaches that may be on a hot seat. Jake, we'll swing to you real quick. Anybody you think, and you may repeat, but it's okay if you do. Anybody you think that
Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. They haven't won a game yet.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Doug Peterson. I've been hearing and more so seeing reports about Belichick being linked down to Jacksonville. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Belichick is linked like 10 places.
Yeah,
It's
I guess
crazy.
true. I guess he's like the biggest name to be linked, right? It should be Enemy, right? I want to see Enemy's name linked to all these places.
Not gonna be enemy. They do not want enemy.
Not anymore. Not out there. Well, I mean,
They never did. But just
I think
Just my
Belichick is going to be more linked to the broadcasters, like ESPN, ABC, NBC. He's going to be more linked to that than he is another head coaching job at his age.
that would make more sense. But they just
that'd be
wanna link him
interesting to
everything.
see him go head to head against Brady.
He win that because Brady's not good at broadcasting. So I know who they're mad they hired Brady because he is not good. Bobby is in the building on the chat. He says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Bobby."
Good morning. Good
All right.
morning. Who's Carolina's coach?
Any of the coaches? He's new. He's not gonna get fired.
Is he? I don't
He
know
literally just
anything
got
about
hired.
their staff.
And he's a first-time head coach, so he's not
Dave
gonna get fired. He's not gonna
Canales.
Oh, so they
Yeah,
already
Dave Canales.
fired their coach. Was what you're
They fired
saying?
him halfway through last year.
Oh, I don't.
Right, got fired halfway through last year. Any of the teams that we feel like is on the hot seat, you feel like any of these coaches will be let go before the season was over. And just to recap, I don't even remember which ones we talked about. Who did you say, TJ? Do you
I
remember?
said Nick Sirianni.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
I think we can't hear TJ from him, but I know he said Sirianni. He said
Oh,
somebody
and
else.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah, Zach Taylor. I said Sean Payton, McCarthy, and Brian Daboll.
I can see Mike McCarthy down in Texas for sure.
Well, the question
Considering who their
I was
owner
asking
is.
was, oh yeah, Bobby brings up another good one. He says Matt Eberflus. That's a good one, but Doug Peterson might beat any of them just because Dougie P, he hasn't gotten anything done. But any of these guys that we're talking about, do you think any of these guys will get fired before the season is over?
See, I don't.
It's tough to say. It would have to be like a terrible season. So I could see Dave Canales in Carolina getting fired before the season's done, and I could see Doug Peterson getting fired before the season's done. But I don't know if I could see anyone else. We'll definitely see some firings after the season,
Yeah.
but it's too early to tell.
No, I could see Zach Taylor getting let go if the Bengals are like something really bad, like 2-6 or like 3-8, something like that.
I don't know.
Figure you
man.
have Burrow,
won.
you have Chase, you have Higgins on the offense.
He's won playoff games for them though. They couldn't even
Hey,
get
it's what have you
past
done
like
for
the
me
first
lately?
round.
It's a what have you done for me lately league, though.
What
It's
have you
like
done
saying
for me
Sean
lately?
Payton's
Last
gonna get
season,
fired because
they
he
didn't
won
do
games with
hot.
the
Now
Saints.
this
Like,
season,
it's great.
Oh no, Sean Payton's not getting fired at all. They're gonna give him at least one more year. This is essentially his first year with his squad, his team. They're not letting him go before the season.
So here's what you gotta understand. Sean Payton came in with expectations. And there's one thing to be middle of the road and building up your team. The team has been terrible since he's been there.
Yeah, but they also have an ownership group that knows nothing about football. That's
why he
also
can
where
get
Sean
fired.
Payton has his plus at.
and
If
they're also
That's
anybody
why
still,
he
goes,
can get fired.
it'll be George Payton before Sean Payton. They're
they're also still stuck with the penalty for Russell Wilson on their salary cap for next year too. So they
from
might
George
keep him there.
Payton.
Yeah,
From the
so they might
GM,
keep him
so
there. Just
exactly.
deal with it.
And
They-
he's been
they
dealing
brought
with
him
it
to
well too. So that's the thing too. Like they're not going to bring in a new coach that's not a team builder that doesn't know how to handle the team. They're not going to go and get an old coach either because there isn't one available. They're
There will
kind
be
of
coaches
with them
available
right
after the
now.
season's over. I don't think he would.
I would say if
done
anybody,
during
it'd
the
be like
season.
Jacksonville or Cincinnati.
Okay. I don't think Carolina's going to let go of their coach because, again, this is his first year. He's never been a head coach before, and he walked into a crappy situation. So I don't think he would be let go after 1 year. Now, here's the thing. You get to year 2 or 3, and you're still dealing with the same situation, then I think he could be a candidate to also be removed from his position. I would say McCarthy's going to probably be gone after this year anyway. So I just kind of threw him in because we know he's going to probably be gone anyway.
Yeah, unless they make a Super Bowl run, he's probably out.
Yeah. And
Cowboys
Daboll,
are not making a Super Bowl run.
I think Daboll could possibly be let go there. I think if he is, people would be jumping on him really quickly because he's a guy that could come back on a better constructed roster to what he wants to do and take a team from really bad to a lot better. So I think.
Well, I mean, look at what he's been doing with that team lately too. I mean, Neighbors is a top 5 receiver. You know, Singletary is even like a top 15 running back right now.
Singletary,
and even
Singletary's been terrible since he has been in.
Singletary. I have Singletary in both my fantasy teams. He's got me points. I've followed Singletary.
Okay, I get points.
Either way, Danny Dimes been a serviceable quarterback. Finally, I don't think. I don't know.
Daniel Jones is not.
Daniel Jones is not even serviceable, sir. He made some good throws in the game, but he underthrew guys in that game on Thursday that I'm sure a lot of people watched multiple times.
Malik Neighbors' success is more because of Malik Neighbors than it is Daniel Jones.
Exactly.
This is true. I'm just saying they have some pieces, though. They've shown some.
That doesn't mean that they won't say we want another coach to lead them. So you look at it and you say they wouldn't get another coach because they got this or these weapons are not bad and this or that. But sometimes they feel like these coaches aren't being listened to anymore because the players have lost respect. So are you going to flip over the locker room or are you going to flip over the head coach? Head coaches get flipped over, and that's the recurring theme through the ones I'm thinking about. They've been there at least a year or two. They're not increasing or getting better. So even though it may not be 100% the coach, you're either going to have to retool the whole roster or got to go with the coach. It's always going to be the coach. No coach is going to survive a roster overhaul. So it's just my thoughts, but it's still early in the season. Half of these guys may not even be on the half seat after 2 more weeks. They go out here and win the next 2 games. They'll be off the hot seat. It's just the fact of where they're sitting at 3 weeks into the season, going into week 4, or for one team they've already played week 4 and got a bunny they almost gave up. But we won't go into that yet. Oh, Dallas. All right, guys. So next question. Should Justin Fields officially be named QB1 in Pittsburgh?
Without
We've
a doubt,
seen him play for a couple of weeks. Yeah, he's played well. So we got a yes from Jake. Said,
yeah.
What do you think, sir?
Of course.
I also agree.
We're
He
paying
should've
the
been-
other
he should've-
quarterbacks, so I mean, I don't want to see him playing anyway.
I would agree. TJ, you are our Pittsburgh guy here. Pittsburgh background, ready to go. Talk to us. What do you think?
I say yes, and yes. Just Mike Tomlin, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing as a coach, but just give the man his flowers. Give him the starting position. He's earned it. His stat line right now is already like 6 or 7 games worth of Kenny Pickett. Okay, so there's already an improvement. He doesn't turn the ball over. His only true turnover was a deflected pass at the line. That he took full ownership of. So maturity-wise, he's also gaining mass amounts of both that and his back. So you can just see he's been getting better and better week in and week out. And let's talk about his completion percentage. I mean, last week he had over 70%. That's incredible. There is no way, in my opinion, if you want to keep winning, or even if you just don't want the whole locker room to turn against you as a coaching staff, you substitute Russell Wilson in. Right now, he's still supposedly injured, but either way, he's getting paid league min on the Steelers' payroll. The Broncos, like said, is fucking Bill. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation, but I say keep Fields in because if you can make him the franchise QB, he's still young enough. You got another 8 to 10 years.
Plus, why would you take Fields out if he's not doing bad? What's the reason for taking Fields out, even if Russ is hurt? You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have nowhere to go if you bring Russ in and Russ sucks.
Yeah, because at that point, Justin Fields is going to be like, nah, I've seen this story before. I'm out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I say, you kind of look at it and you say you can lose your job in the NFL to injury. It happens all the time. You were pegged to be the starter. You got in the game. You didn't make things happen. Or you got hurt, and the other guy got in, and he looks better than you. It is what it is.
That's Drew Bledsoe. Right?
There's so many examples of it, but that is one of the more famous ones, but there are lots of examples of that. As Bobby would say, 100%. A lot of examples of that. All right, guys, so we'll move on. Week 3, surprise performance. And you know what, it's 4 of us, so we can go around and do one, and then if there's any left, you can go back around and do another. Because I think there's quite a few surprises from this past week. So I'm going to start off here. My surprise performance is the Carolina Panthers winning a football game. Right?
Yeah, Red Rocket.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
We talked about it before. Yeah, we talked about it, and Andy Dalton's a guy who's played in the league, knows the league, but I didn't anticipate him being much better behind that line and everything than Bryce Young was. I will go as far, though, as saying a lot of people are saying, Bryce Young's done. He's cooked. I told you it was him and not the team and the lack of talent and blah, blah, blah. It's one game. And whenever you have a quarterback change, right, a lot of times you have a quarterback change, guys come up for a game because we got this other guy and blah, 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 whether it's the starter's hurt, whether a guy gets benched, whether a guy's suspended, whatever. When you bring in another guy, you kind of get this one game like supercharging at times. And apparently Andy Dalton was able to do that for the Panthers. I'm not saying they won't continue to win with Andy Dalton, but I'm saying I don't believe they will continue to win with Andy Dalton. So that makes it even more impressive that he was able to come in and get this win. So, I mean, shout out to him. Shout out to them for playing a better game with him as quarterback on offense and defense. And you got to think about it, too. Andy Dalton affecting the defense, that's crazy, right? Maybe the defense is just starting to play a little better. Now, Andy Dalton affecting the offense, I mean, I can see that from being able to call out coverages and blitzes, being able to actually see over the line without platform cleats on also helps. And these are things that they should have been aware of when they got Bryce Young, and they should have took him and said, let's sit him to begin with. But they didn't. We're here now. Shout out to them for getting their first win of the season. And I think they'll be very scarce on wins, so they should be celebrated for getting one. Let's see what Sid Bayless has to say. What you got for us, Sid Bayless?
Man, you know what team I'm talking about. Come on now. My Broncos, man. 7 sacks, 6 sacks. I don't know. All the sacks. We came out looking like, they looked like a no-fly zone out there, and they were able to do that because our offensive line gave Bo Nix time to sit back there and actually do something. Bo Nix had 47 rushing yards as well too. He was second on the team in rushing yards, which it's good to see, as a young player. You don't want to see it all the time, but you do want to see a positive. It is a good sign. Like, not many people talked about his running in college, but he was pretty decent at it, especially when he was in the SEC. But anyway, Bo Nix didn't throw his first touchdown, but he didn't throw an interception either. So that was cool. I just thought it was good to come out and see the Broncos team that, from a fan standpoint, we kind of expected to see from this team, from the energy they've been giving us all off season. It was cool to see how they operated, and it was cool to see how Bo Nix made sure to get his top dog Cortland Sutton in the mix, with over the shoulder passes, drop back, all kinds of plays all over the field. And it was able to open up. I think he had like 8 or 9 different receivers catch a ball. On top of that, I think we got more clarity in our running back room too. After the game, I think it was Monday, they signed Tyler Batty to the permanent roster. So that was cool to see. It seems like we have a direction we're kind of going in. Javonte kind of had his chance to prove himself in the first 2 games. Plus all of last season, and it's just kind of been the same thing, just kind of doldrum and the fumble. Then in my opinion, didn't add on to it. But anyway, they came out, they played with energy, man. They really took it to Tampa Bay right from the beginning, and then that allowed the defense to be able to sit back and shut that offense down. Literally, like I had the pull up the stats. I don't even know what Mike Evans had. I don't know if he had any yards, but Mike Evans was a virtual no-show in the game. Godwin, of course, he got his touchdown, and he
didn't Mike Evans leave the game injured?
Did he leave the game injured?
That's what I was told. I didn't.
I was just so hyped that my team was going off. I wasn't really paying attention to the offensive side. There wasn't really much they were doing. Every time it looked, it seemed like Baker Mayfield was getting sacked or was trying to run for his life. So it was really good to see what that defense can do. Ben Joseph has that defense rolling, man. Ever since that Miami game last season, it seems like he's been really intent on making sure that they are prepared and they are ready every week. And we're seeing some players step up. Riley Moss, we're seeing our safeties come and step up. Everybody thought the safeties would be a weak point after Justin Simmons left, but those guys are starting to show that given some time and not having to be on the field all the time, they're able to actually do something and hold their own. And that was good. That was against an electric and high-flying offense so far this season. But it's still early. We'll see where we go from here. But it was good to see them get their first win. Hopefully we see Bo Nix get his first touchdown pass this week. But, I'm taking wins over everything else right now.
Fair enough. All right, TJ, we'll go with you.
My surprise is the Minnesota Vikings. Me personally, I've been pretty hard on them. I've been calling them pretenders, but I did not expect them to beat the Texans 34-7. I didn't expect them to win at all. To barely over 200 yards passing, 2 turnovers, and then Sam Darnold didn't light up the world. He threw for 181 yards, but 4 passing touchdowns. I'm beginning to really feel like the Vikings are a legitimate playoff contender this season with Sam Darnold. I feel like he finally found the right coach, the right system. Whatever it is, it's clicking right now in Minnesota.
Yeah, got to give him some props. I've been hard on him too, so yeah, I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely feel it. And Jake, I know I took yours, so I want to give you a few minutes to come up with another one. What you got for us?
So I actually got 2. So first of all, I will say Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. He's been impressing me. I thought it would be like a year or 2 before he was good in the NFL, but he's actually been, really solid as a QB. He led his team to a win over the Bengals. And then my second one is the Falcons for playing the best team in the league so close.
Kirk Chains.
I did tell somebody. I did warn people. Watch out for Jaden Daniels. He's gonna be what C.J. Stroud was next year, and maybe not the same level, but he's gonna be that guy. He's proving me right. Took him a couple of
Mhm.
weeks, but you gotta get your feet wet in the NFL. All right, TJ, we'll go reverse. Do you have another one since we had so many surprises?
I'd say maybe not the biggest surprise in the world, but more of a head scratcher are, I would say, the Kansas City Chiefs, honestly, because they just seem to be barely skating by this season. And you got to wonder, is this, the new look, if you will, Chiefs this season, or are they just not hitting on all cylinders? Because if this is the best they can get, I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to three-peat.
Mm.
Okay, say it.
I mean, going off of that too, I'd say the 49ers, man. I don't know what to think of the 49ers because I know they're depleted. Brock
A
Purdy looks
hospital
good to me.
ward.
I think Brock Purdy looks decent as a quarterback. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the eye for quarterbacks. But he looks good to me with no matter who is out there. But I just feel like this just isn't their year either. Like, I don't know.
So I'm gonna do something that I don't do very much. So this is probably clip worthy. My second surprise is the Dallas Cowboys. Right in week 3, they went up against a Ravens team that was manhandling them, beating them down, throwing them around, just handling them however they want in the first half, right? And then it's like Baltimore just decided we're not going to really try to score. We're just going to run the ball and eat the clock up. And Dallas is like, oh, well, you can do that. We're going to come back. And we talk all the time about Dallas and about the fact that they're front runners. When they get behind, they don't really come back. They did mount a very impressive comeback. They didn't quite get the job done. They lost 38-35. But to go from just being mollywopped in the first half to come all the way back in the second half and make this a 3-point game, that if a couple of things bounced their way at the end, they could have actually won, I think is very impressive. And I'm going to give them props for it because you know me, I am going to get on you when you play bad. I'm also going to give you props when you do well. So that's the thing for them. So kudos to them for showing a little heart that we've all talked about they haven't had for years. We'll see if we can keep up, but at least for a game, they did do that. So move on, guys. Next thing is going to be my Thursday night football review. So for those of you who may have been under a rock or sleep or just depending on how weather's been, you may not have had an opportunity to really look into things. We did have a game on Thursday night. That game, very interesting. Yes. We had the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. I thought it was I'll use a word that I don't use too much, but I thought it was an apropos matchup in that week 4, because it was two teams that both are not, let's say, playing at their best. Dallas was able to survive and get a 2015 win over the Giants.
Weird score.
They did have a couple of injuries, which I'm sure you guys will talk about, but they did nothing to convince you that they are ready to, go to the next level. But I will provide the flip side of that argument. They played on Sunday. They had to turn around and play on Thursday. So that means you got to fly home Sunday. Monday's normally your film day. Tuesday and Wednesday is your real practices. You may be able to get a walkthrough in Thursday because of the Thursday night game, but you got to fly in Thursday, possibly Wednesday. So not a lot of practice time in between the loss on Sunday and this Thursday night game. So I always preface that when I'm talking about Thursday games for teams that had to play on Sunday, because that can be kind of tricky. But TJ, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this Cowboys Giants Thursday night game?
I mean, if you're the Cowboys, you're happy you got the win, but quite frankly, I mean, you can honestly say, even though they only put together really one good half of football on Sunday against the Ravens, they probably played better in that loss than they did in the win against the Giants on Thursday. Sometimes it seems like, teams kind of sit back and, play with their food a little too much. That didn't seem like the case, though. It just seemed like they just kept getting in their own way, kept forcing penalties and everything else. It's just they didn't seem cohesive as a especially on offense. Now, defense kept them in the game, everything else. But as we touched upon it earlier, if Daniel Jones can make 1 to 2 more decent passes, Giants might win that game. So you still have a lot of soul searching to do if you're in Dallas. And if I'm McCarthy, I'm pretty nervous right now because this team is not looking or shaping up at all like the preseason polls were showing.
Definitely true, man. Jake, what do you got?
So my takeaway from this game is that it was just ugly on both sides for the Cowboys, for the Giants. There was just nothing really good to say about this for either team. It was just sloppy football from beginning to end. Now for the Cowboys, I'm sure they're happy they got the win, but it was a ugly way to win, and it looked as though the Giants were going to march down the field and win on the last, drive of the game. But Daniel Jones ended up throwing it away, which is the most Daniel Jones thing to happen. So for the Giants, I think this shows you Daniel Jones is not the answer. They need to get a new quarterback this year. And for the Cowboys, this shows them that they're not Super Bowl contenders if you're beating the Giants by 5.
That's very true.
Yeah,
you have a couple things to say.
See, yeah, this is maybe the game that you guys are looking at from the Giants. I was looking at the Cleveland game. But anyway, yeah, it was a lackluster game from both teams. Maybe it was due to this is what I felt like Thursday night games looked like all last season. I don't know. I felt maybe I was dreaming the first 2 weeks because the first two Thursday night or a few Thursday night games were actually really decent games and fun games. And not saying this game wasn't okay. I mean, it was a watchable game just because I like football, right? But yeah, like Jake was saying, it shows that, Dallas is maybe closer to the Giants side of the house than they are to being up there with the Eagles and the NFC East, maybe, right? Or even being towards the top of the NFC for that matter. And we've been seeing it. I mean, heck, the Saints came through and, pretty much sunned, the Cowboys. But anyway, I digress. So, this was just a very boring game. But like Jake, TJ said, I mean, Danny Dimes was a couple of decent throws away from actually punching it into the end zone and turning some of those field goals into touchdowns. And maybe one would have been all it took, So, I mean, I don't know. It was just a boring game of crappy teams.
Yeah, the only thing I'll just add is Thursday night gives you some interesting matchups because a lot of times, again, they're playing on short weeks, but it is both teams, right? It's not like they're normally matching a team that had a bye against a team that plays. So it's normally both teams, so you normally don't get their best games. But at the same time, it gives you a little bit of a gut check. If you're a fan of a team, just kind of gives you a little chance to see a gut check from your squad. Because if you go out here and you play well in these games, you're essentially showing heart, right? And I think that's why we got some good games the first 2 weeks, and because the teams were a lot fresher the first 2 weeks.
Well, yeah.
So, gut check. Dallas did what they were supposed to do. New York did hang in, but I do agree. A quarterback would be very beneficial for them, but you have to ask yourself, what would they need to do to get a quarterback? And would you want to bring in a fresh quarterback with the same coaching staff?
Bring in DeVito. Hey.
You may want to say, hey, I'm going to go get a quarterback this offseason and then build a staff that's good for him. If he's a veteran, a guy that can work with veterans. If he's a rookie, somebody that we feel can develop him.
You think they could get Shador?
Or somebody else. You have to have a pick high enough to get Shador. So it's no question of who's going to get Shador yet because we got to see where the picks lay out.
Well,
Shador is probably going to be the top quarterback off the board, not first and second.
Well, I mean, if they did have a pick high enough, do you think Dion would let Shador go to the Giants with that offensive line?
I mean, Dion didn't give him a line in college, so what can you really complain about?
Maybe they let Dion coach too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he can give his own son a line, so how can you not let him go somewhere without a line when you didn't even give him a line?
He said there's options.
But there are options. I think it's more who drafts him. I don't think they're going to really pull this whole, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there type crap. Because if you're a really talented player, you go where you're picked and you make the team better. Now, you may say, hey, y'all drafted me, I'm coming here, cool. You might go in when you're talking to ownership and meeting everybody and say, hey, I really need this line better, y'all. Y'all got to give me this line better if y'all want me to perform. If you're going to bring me in, I'm going to sit a year, you're going to let somebody else go out there and be the sacrificial lamb or half the year until you get the line straight, cool. But if you want me to come out here, get in this game and play, you got to get me a line. And I think that's fair if you're number one pick and you're a quarterback or you're a running back, right? If you're a position where the line directly affects your performance, you should go in and say, hey, I know I'm the young guy here, but can y'all get a line? We need to improve the line. Can we get a better line so that I can, do what I need to do?
I think the Giants
will do that wherever he goes.
I can see the Giants getting a top pick, top 3.
I don't think so. There's 4 or 5 teams I think are hardly worse than them, even with their quarterback problems. But yeah. So there's that. So next, we've got 3 highlight games for the week. We'll start off with the game Minnesota headed to Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers. I haven't looked this morning. I can actually look real quick and see.
Is Jordan Love playing?
I know Justin Fields was questionable all week. See if he is going to play or not. I think he's going to be a game time decision, but just checking to see if there's any, update on his status real quick. A little quick live research here. Now, to be, completely transparent, I do have him in a fantasy league, so I'm just going to go there and check. But,
wait, who are we talking about? Jordan Love?
Yes, we are. Jordan Love.
They're saying he's questionable this week.
He's still just showing questionable there and on news outlets as well. He's going to be a game.
He's showing expected to play in sleeper.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah,
he's active for week 4. So Jordan Love is back.
That's absolute stupidity by their coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jordan Love
like
is
last week. Gonna get hurt in game.
Well, I think with Love, they set him out a couple of weeks because of the injury, but I honestly think they were more cautious in him not playing than actually concerned. Because I think based on the reports, he could have played actually after the first week, but they wanted to make sure that they gave him at least 2 weeks off just to make sure he had stability and he could go through a full week of practice with no issues. I only know all this again because he's one of my fantasy quarterbacks. If he wasn't, I wouldn't know any of this. I'm just gonna be honest.
Nobody researches as hard as a fantasy football owner, Yes,
sir. Because I did slide him in now that he's playing, just because my other options are Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields. Because I am starting Hurts, so I'm gonna start him in Hurts. He was my guy drafted to be a starter because I think he will have a good statistical season. I think he'll have a good statistical game. He'll probably play in some sort of brace, I would expect, and they'll probably limit anything with him moving outside of the pocket and do more of a pocket pass, or maybe step over a little bit, but not a lot of like running or putting him in ridiculous situations. Or let's hope so, because I really do need. I had him in Tua right to start the season, so I had to start grabbing other guys. I always draft 4 quarterbacks. It's a 2 quarterback league, just because the past 3 years I've been like on top. That's running, and then both of my starters get hurt every year, and I end up losing. So you gotta love that. But I did digress a little bit. Minnesota, Green Bay. I'm actually gonna go Minnesota until they show me that someone can beat them. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't explain it. Like, I watched part of the games. I went back and watched the condensed game. And he looks good, but it's just like, what changed with Sam Darnold? Like, it had to be here, right? Because all of a sudden he's I wouldn't say a top 5 or top 10 quarterback, but at least a top 15 quarterback right now, right? Like at least that. And you do have Jay Jetta, who makes everybody look better, but it's not just him. You haven't had Addison for a couple of weeks, so you've been throwing the Jetta and some threes. And you've still been getting the job done. So, hey, defenses look solid enough. Special teams is immaculate. I'm gonna go with Minnesota, even though it's Jordan Love's return game. I just need Jordan Love to get like 350, 400. But I think you're gonna lose. Said who you got?
Minnesota, Green Bay.
It's in Green Bay too.
Oof. Jordan Love coming back. Man, Sam Darnold's been having some miracles, man. I think it's just a product of great coaching over there in Minnesota. But they've been looking good, right? They've been hitting teams. Shoot. Let's see what Vegas says. Vegas got the Packers. I'm gonna go Minnesota.
I'm scared me and Sid going the same pick.
Yeah. Against all odds. No, but it should be a fun game, though. I'm excited to watch this game. I think, especially with Jordan Love coming back, I think it's going to be a shootout. Is Justin Jefferson playing?
Yes.
Is he? I know he jammed his finger or something last week.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that affects him. Aaron Jones said he was going to get a touchdown. He was looking to do the Lambeau leap. So Aaron Jones has been speaking his realities into existence lately. So I'm excited to see what he does today. I think he's going to, go over 100 yards, get a tutty as well. So if you're an Aaron Jones owner, play him for sure. I'm calling that right now.
He's in. I like that take, Sid. I like that. That was unskip Bayless of you.
I know. It's a hard game to be very Skip Bayless on. What am I going to say? Oh, Jordan Love's going to come out and throw for 350 yards, 4 tutties. Jordan Love hopefully doesn't get hurt, but I mean, it's going to be exciting to see.
Fair enough, Jake. What you got, man?
Here's the thing. If Jordan Love wasn't hurt, I might say the Packers come out and win. But you're putting the red-hot Vikings, who are on a crazy Linsanity run, against a team with an injured quarterback. I'm going to take the Linsanity run over the injury any day of the week. Now, it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. I think the Vikings, you're going to start to see some of the cracks in their foundation. But I still have the Vikings winning this one, maybe by a touchdown.
All right, and TJ, finishing up for us. What do you got?
Well, I kind of want to change my pick now because usually when we all agree on the same thing, it doesn't happen. But I'm going to stay with the Vikings. Whatever they got going on, Sam Darnold's looking like comeback player of the year right now. So whatever they have cooking in Minnesota, it's looking good right now. And with the injury to Love, you don't know how he's going to play. Might look a little rusty. So Vikings all the way.
Yeah. It's a little concerned that we all have the same pick. I was really shocked. Sid was the one that I was expecting to say something wild and didn't, so it kind of shocked me. I will admit. But hey, I guess he kind of got what he wanted, just in a different way, right?
Hey, it's gonna be a good day.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, an interesting one. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the referees versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Games in LA. TJ, you finished last, so we'll start with you and just go back around. Who do you have win this game and why?
I have the Chiefs winning because even though they haven't been looking the best to start off this season, they've still been winning their games. And the Chargers, they're still kind of on the rebuild, the path back up. Justin Herbert, is, I believe, injured for this game.
He's
like time decision.
He is playing, I believe.
Playing? He was game time last week, too, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so hopefully he doesn't get injured again in game. Right. But either way, you got to go with the hot hand. You got to go with the champs. I'm going Chiefs. Probably in a close game, but they're going to pull it out.
Yeah.
Yep. You got Jake.
All right, I have the Chiefs. I think it's too hard to pick against them, and Justin Herbert, he's not at 100%. And this team, they don't have the weapons to compete with the Chiefs. They don't have the defense to compete with the Chiefs. they don't have the refs on their side to compete with the Chiefs. It's not going to be, pretty for the Chargers. And that stinks because the Chargers are the most frustrating team in the NFL for the past 4 seasons or so, where they've always looked like they're a step away from the playoffs. They're still a step away from the playoffs. And they're not going to beat the Chiefs if they're a step away from the playoffs, and the Chiefs are the team to beat right now.
That makes sense. Sid?
All right. I got both these teams losing. 0-0.
I know. There's the
Nah, but I mean, you got to give it to the Chiefs. I mean, Nick Bolton is probably about to go off this week. I'd say probably at least 8 to 10 tackles. He had 3 tackles for loss last week, so I can see him getting a bit more, especially if Justin Herbert is hurt or maybe hurt or afraid to get hurt or doesn't want to get, So we'll see how it goes. That running game from the Chargers didn't do anything last week. Or actually, I think J.K. Dobbins did slightly go off, maybe, but that Chiefs defense is not too much. I don't know what his stats were, but that Chiefs defense was really they've been pretty decent. They've been holding that team down this season, so maybe this will be the game that Patty Mahomes goes off too, starts to cook. So maybe we'll see that. I know Rashee Rice has been killing it. Worthy's been hit or miss. So I mean, but it's going to be their offense is going to be on the field a lot. So it's going to be fun to see how many points the Chiefs can get today. But I don't think the Chargers will be able to keep up. I got Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs will win this game. You guys have made a lot of great points, but there's one point that I make consistently when we're talking about the Chiefs. They do have 3 other players on the field that wear black and white every week. So when you have that extra bonus, it's difficult to win. I know people will argue, last year they lost games and blah, blah, blah. They lost games because they were that bad. They were dropping balls. There's only so many times you can call pass interference when the guy's wide open, and people are not going to be like, come on now. But I think they are better, right? I think they're back to being a team that can make the plays, and then they're going to get the help 1 or 2, 3 or 4 times from the referees, either by them overlooking an egregious play that helps them, or by calling something that's egregious against the other team to help. And that's truthfully, if you're going to beat this team, you're going to have to be able to beat the team and overcome those calls. Like, they won't just sit there the whole game and make calls for the Chiefs, but they're going to give them 3 or 4 that's going to be very beneficial. So if you're able to overcome those, then you can beat them. If you're not, you won't beat the Chiefs. I think the Chargers, Justin Herbert, there's no way you can tell me he's going to be 100%. You can't look me in my face and say Justin Herbert's going to be 100%, bro, and expect me to believe that. He's walking around the walking boot earlier this week. If he goes out there, again, he's got to be the same type of thing I was saying about Love. You're going to put a guy out there that's not 100%, then you've got to make sure that you protect him, you run the ball really well, and put him in situations where he's not in a position to re-aggravate himself. I mean, it's football. You can get hit and get hurt, whether you're healthy or not. But you don't want to put a player that's not 100% healthy in situations where he can get hurt. And I think that's a big thing that the Chargers have not done, because Herbert's been out there with broken ribs and all kind of stuff before. And it's like, bro, I know it's a new coaching staff, but I feel like ownership is just like, he needs to play. So
we need to see.
It'll just be if they can maintain, handle everything correctly, and overcome the Chiefs, which I don't think they're going to be able to do this week. So I'm going Chiefs as well. Did you have something else you want to add there, Sid?
No.
Okay.
I just don't care for either one of them. Nah, they're a good team.
Okay.
What if now that everybody picked the Chiefs, I'm like, damn, maybe I should pick the Chargers.
Well, you had an opportunity, sir.
Lost it.
All right, in the last game, and we'll start with you, Sid, because this way it'll be fun for you. We've got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. And then, of course, we'll go with our resident Lion guy after Sid, but you got to let Sid talk first, because that's how you get the most version of him sometimes, right, guys? And we want to get a little bit of fun.
Man, I feel like, my co-host Justin probably have some words with me if I were to pick against the Lions, especially. But I mean, you know, Seattle's been a little hot this season, man. Geno Smith I don't even got nothing to say for it. I was just gonna say Geno Smith too busy writing checks. That's why he ain't writing them back. But I mean, they've been on the streak right now. They've been hot, Seattle, and that defense. But I mean, I'm looking at the comments right here. I'm just looking at the feed in the game, and it's kind of equal. So many people, it's half and half. One comment: If Arnold is benched, Lions easy. If Arnold plays, he will most likely cost us the game with his penalties. This one, 37-34, Seattle taking the dub. So I mean, this game could go either way, man. It's gonna be a good game. I'm just gonna go with the Lions because I got more Lions players in my fantasy team, so I'm hoping to see them go off.
That's a terrible reason, but Jake, what do you thought?
That's a good reason.
I'm gonna say, give me my Lions at home by 1 million. As I will say every week until the end of time, I want the Detroit Lions to win, and I believe they will win. I think this team is still, figuring things out, and the fact that they're still figuring things out makes them the most dangerous team because once everything's all clicking, it's over for the league. And Seattle, they've not impressed me. They just flat out haven't impressed me. Geno Smith, he's all right. He's serviceable. I don't think he's really all that good. And Kenneth Walker, he's been dealing with injuries. Their defense is fine. It's not great. It's not, it's above average maybe, but it's not like elite. It's not as good as Detroit's. So I got to take the Lions by 20 if I'm being serious. But if I'm not being serious, it's Lions by 1 million. Easy as that.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Sid.
I got some stats. So these are quarterback stats. 787 yards, 77 of 103, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 723 yards, 70 of 106, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That first one was Geno. The second one's Jared Goff. I mean, they're not much different. It's going to be interesting, but I do think that Lions running game is going to carry them. I just like Montgomery and Gibbs, man. I wanted to say that before. Like they know how to run. They know how to do running back by committee the right way. So yeah.
So what you're saying is you want to make sure you stole TJ's thunder. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I steal thunder. That's what I do.
Go ahead, TJ. I know you have a lot more than that you want to say. Go ahead.
There you go.
For me, this is a coin toss game. Both teams are coming in really good. You can say the Seahawks a little bit of surprise, new head coach. Geno Smith was a little iffy last season, but they have it rolling. But I just can't pick against Detroit. I mean, if I had an unofficial favorite NFC team this year, it would be Detroit. I love Campbell. I love Goff. I love what they have going down there. They're literally just changing the city, it feels like, with how good they've been doing lately. Last year, 1 fourth quarter collapse away from the Super Bowl. I picked them to be in the Super Bowl this year. I have to go with them.
Fair enough. I'm actually going to agree with you guys. This does not happen, but I'm going to have to agree with you guys. Detroit's the team that should win this game. There's not a lot of reasons why they shouldn't. I'm not going to sit here and try to come up with stuff just to be different. I mean, Detroit's a better team. They've got that burn from what happened to them last year when they kind of Nick Sirianni didn't just decide to go for 4th every time. It seems like they're carrying it as a chip on their shoulder as they play this year. And to me, they're just a better team than Seattle. I think Seattle will be able to score points. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I just don't see them beating Seattle. And again, we all 4 agree, so that's very dangerous. But I mean, I'm not Skip Bayless. I'm not going to change mine just to be different.
Is Laporta playing?
Sorry?
Is Laporta playing?
No, Laporta's not playing. No. Still got
no, they're saying he is expected to play.
I was going to say he's not on their injury report. Yeah,
he had a full practice on Friday.
Whoa. I picked up his back.
Okay. He'll probably be limited now.
Limited.
He might be limited, but that extra day of rest might, push him over
Yeah.
the edge.
I got you. I thought he was going to play.
He ain't
Yeah,
really
so I
done
think
much
over.
this season though, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't have
Now
him.
the
in
real
fantasy.
question is, will they throw to him?
Exactly.
That's a good question. That's a very good point.
All right.
So, guys, those are our regular picks.
Oof.
So now it's time for us to get through the lightning picks here.
Oh
So
man.
we'll quickly make picks for all our games. 1 p.m. Eastern time. The 2-1 Saints at the 1-2 Falcons.
Oof.
We'll just do this real simple. We'll go the same all the time. We'll go Alex, TJ, said, me. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Cool. Alex is on you.
Who's
Who's Alex?
Who's Alex?
Oh, sorry, I said Jake. I mean, it's Jake. My bad.
I was like, damn.
My bad, guys.
Anyway, you're fine. I like the Falcons in this one. I think the Saints, their insanity run is over for sure. I'm picking the Falcons.
I'm going to pick the Saints just because I feel like they either get back on track this week or they start flopping for the rest of the season.
Oh shit, yeah. I'm gonna pick. Where is it at?
Atlanta.
Oof.
It
I'm
is
pick Dirty
in
Birds.
Atlanta.
Falcons, just because it's in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons because I think they have the better defense. And I think they're going to be able to kind of look at what the Eagles did last week and kind of come up with some similar concepts and things to do to attack the Saints to slow down that offense. So I think they're going to be able to pull it out. And I will say one thing. Kirk Cousins, you're on your last leg. You better perform this week or you're going on the bench in my fantasy league. The Falcons should probably do the same thing.
In real life too. Yeah.
That's on them, but you're on your last leg, sir. You better show me something.
Bijan's been going off beast mode.
He has been. All right. So our next game is going to be the the battle of, I think, two of the worst teams in the league, at least right now. Record-wise, the Bengals are one of the worst teams, 0-3, and they are at the 1-2 Panthers, who are coming off a win. I think a lot of people are over-exaggerating how good the Panthers really are. All right. So, Jake, on you.
I think I'm going to take Cincinnati. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. I think Andy Dalton's motivated, but Cincinnati's the better team on paper.
Can't argue with that. TJ?
I'm going with the Panthers. I'm thinking they're going to come in. They're on a little hot streak for after last week. Bengals are a little off kilter, and I love a good revenge tour.
Revenge game. Bring it back. Nah, I'm going Cincy. This is their game to get right. This is their get right game. Get back on track.
This is the season for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm going to Cincinnati because desperation, they're going to have to go out here and find a way to win, even if it's by a point on a fluke play. They've got to win.
Yeah. Panthers trying to get another quarterback.
Well, the second round pick's going to the Bears, so you better get them in the first round.
Man, they better beat somebody up, take some picks or something.
Yeah.
Give all their picks away.
It's crazy. It's crazy how the Bears fleeced them. All right, then at 1 p.m. also Eastern, we got the 1-2 Rams at the 1-2 Bears. I'm just gonna go ahead and go first. Rams. Jake, go ahead.
I mean, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to take the Rams. I just don't think the rookies are going to be able to do it.
Yeah, the
Rams for the same reason.
Yeah.
Rams. Who is it? Rams and the Bears.
Yep.
Shoot, Matt Stafford's like 230 yards away from passing Eli. Do they have any receivers? Who's he throwing it to?
He can throw it to us.
I'm gonna go with the Bears, man. They're gonna have.
We got Tutu Atwell. Tutu gonna catch 200 yards today. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going with the Bears, man.
I think the Rams will do enough to get it done. But hey, if you want to go with the Bears just to be different, that's cool. I ain't mad
Go
at you.
Bears. I just wanted to say that once in my life.
I know you did. All right, we got the 0-3 Jags at the 2-1 Texans.
Whew.
Jake, I'd hate to be Jags. Jake,
All right,
you got
you got to give me Houston in this one because Jackson was one of the worst teams in the league, and the Texans are a contender in the AFC. It's simple as that.
TJ.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans as well. This is, in my opinion, their get right game after last week's debacle against Minnesota. And the Jags, man, they can't get out of their own way. Trevor Lawrence apparently can't win a game anymore. So I'm going with the Texans.
Okay. That's it.
Man, this game go either way though. AFC South matchup. They always play each other. Nasty. I'm gonna go with the Jags, just because Houston's been they're a little banged up too, man. All their receivers are a little bit. Well, they all. I think Nico Collins did practice on Thursday and Friday. Tank Dell's still out. Dalton Schultz hasn't. I mean, I like the Texans in this game. They should win this game, but at the same time, maybe this is a bit of desperation game for the Jags as well too. I got Jags winning.
All right, I'm gonna go Texans. After last week, the Texans are extremely pissed off,
Mm-hmm.
and I would hate to be Jags this week. Jags have not looked well. I know we talk about get right games and desperation, but honestly, I don't think the Jags thought they were going anywhere this year anyway, and just 100%. So I'm gonna go Texans. Say you do make some good, compelling arguments today though, but I'm gonna go Texans, which I'm kind of surprised about. It's kind of weird. We got 3-0 Steelers at the 1-2 Colts.
Mm-mm.
Gotta let TJ go first for this one.
I mean, obviously, I'm picking Indianapolis, not just playing Steelers. I would not doubt, though, as a lifelong Steeler fan, this would be the game that they lose to start, their first loss of the season. But I mean, realistically, they should win. Better defense. Both offenses are kind of lackluster, but the Steelers have been getting it done. So you got to go with Pittsburgh, even in Indy. So
Fair enough, Jake.
I like Anthony Richardson in this one,
Mhm.
and I think there's going to be some sort of like garbage that happens, and the Colts are going to win this one in the end. Sorry, TJ, I just have to say it.
Yeah.
take back my Detroit pick.
Yeah, man. Go Gators, right? Nah, definitely for sure. No, go Gators. But I feel like Anthony Richardson is like a better version of Justin Fields. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Pittman has to go off today and get some points, man. I don't know. I'm going Colts. I just feel like even last week in the loss, they still look good as a bad team. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think they're going to do enough of the right things to get more points in this game.
Yeah, for me, this is my any given Sunday game of the week, in my opinion.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That rushing attack, though, the Colts, though, you got to be careful. You got to watch out for that.
That D line of the Steelers, you got to look out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. They're riding defense. Justin Fields is playing lights out football right now. He's not blowing up stat sheets, but he's getting the job done. He's not making mistakes. Anthony Richardson is going to make mistakes. The Colts are very down to mid. A good game, they're mid. I just don't see a way the Steelers to win, which means to lose, which means the Colts will probably actually end up winning, but I'm picking the Steelers. The way the season's gone so far, right? All right. Then we've got 1-2 Broncos at the 2-1 Jets. Jake, you got
What?
Can I say the Broncos in this one?
Damn right you can.
I don't believe in the Jets. I don't believe in the Jets, and I have Bo Nixon as my backup fantasy quarterback.
Yes, sir. Not Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Vintage Aaron.
TJ, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Jets,
Woo.
just because they're the better team on paper. Not by much, but they are the better team.
It's because he's a
in my
Steeler fan. We paying his quarterback. That's why. Heck no. I ain't never picking against the Broncos again on this show. I don't give a damn what y'all say, man. Broncos all day. We're rolling right now, and I'm riding Broncos till I'm not riding Broncos.
I'm going to go Jets. The running game the Jets have is phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers may not be the same guy he was 5 years ago, but he can get the job done. That defense, they could use another rusher. There's a lot of teams that could use another rusher. And Denver did have a good game last week, but hey, it's your chance to prove me wrong on you, but I'm going Jets.
Can I say some stats? Running game, you say? Denver's 21st in rushing yards per game, and the Jets are 20th in rushing yards per game.
It's an even matchup.
It's an even matchup, but now I'm telling you, Denver has a more clear direction with Tyler Batty. You're going to see more electric running game with him and McLaughlin. You're going to see Bo Nix having more time to be able to throw the ball as a result of that. And you saw those passes. Man, come on. You guys cannot look at the game and tell me those passes were not right where they needed to be. He was the second best quarterback behind Jaden Daniels, only because Jaden Daniels had a freaking historic performance against the crappy team. So that's all I'm saying, man. Like, I understand, the Jets defense is hardcore too, and yeah, this and that. But Aaron Rodgers ain't got 2 games in a row in him. This is his rest game. He took some shrooms. He be zoned out, man. He chilling.
But you don't realize he plays better with the shrooms than without, sir.
Hey, well, he gonna have to play today. I remember that game where he talked about how he left Denver untouched. They don't even have to clean his jersey and all this and that. I'm pretty sure that's been playing all week in that defensive
I'm pretty sure it has.
side of the locker room.
And then when he said it, he left that week with his jersey untouched.
Oh man.
Next, we got the last 1 o'clock game, 2-1 Eagles at 2-1 Bucks. I think we all know who I'm picking. TJ, who you got?
And this is another coin toss game for me, but I got to go with the Eagles, just because neither team played their best last week, but the Eagles were able to figure out a way to win it, and the Bucks, they didn't do so hot. So,
all right, and Jake, who you got?
This one's tough for me. I mean, I could flip a coin and that would be my pick. I'm gonna say the Eagles simply because they're not coming off of a loss.
Sid?
Let me see. I'm gonna say the Bucks, man. Who's Jalen Hurts? Is AJ Brown coming back this game? No. D guy, he goes off. But who's Jalen Hurts throwing it to, man? I don't know. I'm gonna go Bucks.
Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson, you really
Paris Campbell.
You really said Jahan Dotson and Paris Campbell like you got.
You asked who he's throwing the ball to. I'm telling you who's going to be playing. You asked the question like you didn't know, so I'm answering it for you.
All right.
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
All I got to say is, scoffing at the name Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson was the reason Dallas Goedert got that big play last week.
Hey, and Saquon we trust. Saquon gonna get
Saquon Barkley in the backfield that can catch the ball as well as run.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's mad. Mike Evans. They don't have any injury reports on their side of the house. They're just ready to go.
And they had lots of injuries midweek, so
they did. They did. They had me shook most of the week with C God. They're not 100%. Nobody's 100% though. It's week 4. You shouldn't be 100% at this point.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, you may not be able to make every play because I know Vita Vea, from what I read earlier in the week, he was going to play, but he's going to be on a snap count.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm still going Bucks.
Hey, bro, I do not want you to change because all the weeks where you pick against the Eagles, I just sit back and chuckle and say that's a guaranteed win.
I'm never picking the Eagles.
If you pick against us, I feel way more
On
confident
paper.
about us moving.
All right, cool.
Just because one of the most diabolical haters of the Eagles alive is picking against us.
I do
That makes me feel
decree
good.
the Eagles suck.
Nah, you suck.
They like the NFC East Broncos. They look kind of the same.
Nah, they
We
definitely
got
don't.
We got that
I don't know
running
been
quarterback
drinking.
now. He's like a
I don't
mini
know what you've
Jalen
been
Hurts.
drinking or smoking, but there's no similarities between the Philadelphia
They don't know
Eagles
how to run the ball right.
and
They can't use their running back the
your
correct way.
Denver Broncos.
They're pretty similar. Same.
17 carries for 147 yards.
Hey, I'll
That's
take that
efficient.
140. Hey, we're
That's
getting there.
efficient, and
We're
that's
getting there.
acceptable. And that
We're
was the
getting
Philadelphia
there.
Eagles
What?
running game with one player last week. 17 rushes for 147 yards
You got
from Saquon
Barkley,
Barkley.
bro. You guys got Barkley. Of course, he's gonna get his.
Okay, so I'm just saying. So you don't have any guy back there that's Barkley. So don't even try. Come on here with that
Yet.
ridiculousness. Your two running backs together are not Saquon Barkley. We're not going to do that. They're not, and they never will be. You can clone them together with the best of both of them. They're still not Saquon Barkley. So we're not going to. There's no.
Saquon Barkley is also made of glass, so you better keep him safe.
And I do want to mention AJ Brown is still the team leader in receptions with 118 yards per game. What do you got? 119 yards and a touchdown. He still leads the team in receptions.
You said that last week.
Let me see.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. Commanders and Cardinals is our next game. 2-1 Commanders at 1-2 Cardinals. I'll run this one first. I'm gonna say Commanders. I like what Jaden Daniels is doing. He's got some momentum after the big win. The Cardinals I've never trusted in. So even though you're at home, I just don't believe in the Cardinals. And Call of Duty's getting ready to come out. We all know what that means.
Call of Duty's a few weeks away yet.
Oh yeah.
I was pre-installing it last night.
I know who else was pre-installing it, sir.
Kyler Murray.
Absolutely.
Cannot wait to play.
All right, Jake, who you got?
I'm gonna pick the Cardinals. I as much as I like Jaden Daniels, I gotta go with the Cardinals mainly based on defense.
Fair enough. TJ?
I'm going to take the Commanders over the Cardinals. I'm looking for them to build on what they were able to do last week. And personally, I just trust Daniels already more than I trust Kyler Murray. So,
and Sid Bayless.
Yeah. I'm going to go Cardinals just to keep it even. I probably won't watch this game. Well, actually, I will watch this game. I think this game's going to be a lot of fireworks, actually. No, looking at it. I mean, shoot. Cardinals been rolling. I don't know how you can hate, but Jaden Daniels been rolling, too.
One win.
I know I did pick the Cardinals, but I will say Jaden Daniels is what Kyler Murray wishes he could be.
Very true. But Kyler Murray has Marvin Harrison Jr., which they've been connecting, and their biggest thing was to connect. I mean, Trey McBride is out, so no tight end, no, that maybe hurts, but
no wide receiver too.
No wide receiver too. They still got Connor. They still got their running game, man. And
I will say Washington's defense is really suspect.
Suspect. But at the same time, Washington proved they can keep up. So damn, it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna come down to the wire. Coin toss.
Then we have the 1-2 Patriots at the 1-2 49ers. I'll make mine very simple. 49ers. Say it, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 49ers too. Probably won't
Jake,
watch this game.
I'm picking San Francisco, even though their entire team is in the hospital. They're still better than the Patriots, who are just plain garbage.
The Patriots look hurt.
49ers as well. They got to beat the Patriots. Come on.
Yeah, right. Especially if you want to contend. I don't care if they're in a different division, but if you want to prove you contend, you gotta beat these bad teams.
Yep. And then we got the 1-2 Browns at the 1-2 Raiders. So I'm gonna simply say this for me: you lose to the Panthers,
you done.
You're not a good team, and I don't know what to tell you. So I'm going Browns.
I mean, Yeah. I mean, the Panthers, they kind of do what the Raiders normally do when they switch their quarterback or their coach and they come back and win the next week.
And then
But
Devontae
anyway,
Adams, I think, is out today too.
Devontae Adams is out? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
think so.
Browns.
I think I read
Going
that
Browns.
earlier. Let me double check. I don't want to be on here spitting false information.
Minshew ain't winning no games by himself. Brock Bowers is nice.
Devontae Adams is out.
Oh, yeah.
And
saw
Max
that.
Crosby,
Max Crosby.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
Max,
Crosby,
yeah,
they
I'm
both
going
got
to
hurt
Browns.
last week.
Yeah.
In that Panthers loss, they both got hurt.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why they lost the Panthers. But
That's
Browns don't got no running backs, though. Who's their running back?
Nick Chubb.
Is he back?
no, he's not back yet.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They've been decent. They've been decent running the ball.
I mean, Deshaun Watson did say specifically he's not a running quarterback. I think he's going to run a bit more this game. Especially no Max Crosby. He'll probably have a little bit of time to move around back there.
Well, you get Jerome Ford and some of the other guys on the bench involved. I mean,
You might get a massage or two. Who knows? Take his time. Take his time. Mark Cooper probably go off today.
TJ, who you got?
If it wasn't for the injuries, I'd pick the Raiders, but with the injuries, I'm going with the Browns and probably a close, ugly game.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like we're all going Browns. So Sunday night, 8:20 p.m. Got the 3-0 Buffalo Bills at the 1-2 Ravens. For me, we're getting ready to see the 2-2 Ravens and the 3-1 Bills. I think they're going to pull out their running game like last week and pound the ball on the Bills and learn from their mistake last week and continue to pound the ball on the Bills in the third and fourth quarter. It'll still be tight, though, I think. But I got the Ravens. TJ, who you got?
I have the Bills over the Ravens and probably a close game. But first off, Ravens, come on, I'm a Steelers fan. I can't pick them. But the Bills, Josh Allen said, man, they're having fun. Threw a little shade at Diggs a little bit, with not worrying about stats. Well, let's see if they can keep having fun and keep winning games. I'm going Bills.
I like that. Jake.
I'm going to flip a coin for this game. Right now, I got a coin flipper up on my computer. Heads is Bills. Tails is Ravens. Let's see what I get. I got heads, so I'm picking the Bills.
Hey.
I can even respect that. That's the process. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
All right, Sid.
I wanted to go Ravens. Didn't you pick the Ravens?
I did pick the Ravens.
Damn. Nah. I'm going to go Ravens just because I got Lamar. I got Josh Allen in another league too. Damn. Nah.
I got him.
I'm gonna go Ravens, man. I saw that goose egg from Keon Coleman a couple weeks ago. They ain't got no receivers, man. They say they spread it around to everybody, but are they though?
Fair enough. All right. So then we got 2 Monday night games, and we can just go ahead and talk about both of them at once because one of them, I'll be honest, does not matter. And then the other one will be a good game. So first we got the 0-3 Titans at the 1-2 Dolphins. The Dolphins won a game before Tua got hurt. They've been as bad as all the other the other unwinned or defeated teams since then. They're playing the Titans. The Titans have Will Levis at quarterback, who I'm no fan of whatsoever. I guess for this one, I'm gonna go Dolphins just because they can run the ball, and the Titans, I have no confidence in them. Number 2 pick, I feel like it's the Titans. I feel like they fumble in the 2 wins throughout the season, but I still think they're a top 2-3 pick. They're that bad because they don't have a quarterback. Can't win this league without a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is not great either.
And I wanted to leave that for somebody else, but Jake, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to pick the Dolphins because if you have a quarterback physically on the field, all you have to do is throw it to Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. TJ?
A middle schooler would know that.
That's fair.
It's a tough one. I'm going to pick the Titans for this to be one of their like 3 or 4 wins that I projected them to get on the season, just because the Dolphins are just a big cluster right now. A lot of frustrations boiling over there.
Yeah, it's two bad teams. So I mean, what you got there?
I mean, I remember when Lamar had his contract dispute, there was one team I felt like he'd look good at, and it was Miami. And if there ever is a Lamar 2.0, it's Tyler Huntley. So I got a lot of faith in Tyler Huntley today. I'm gonna go Dolphins, man. And Tyreek, man, he has like TJ, I think it was just said, there's a lot of frustration boiling over, and we know who it is. The guy trying to set history. He could have retired a season ago, 2 seasons ago. He's done it. He has it. But he's trying to get, he's not going to get MVP with stats like he's been getting. So, Tyler Huntley, man, they brought him in for a reason, and he's going to show why. And he might even, I don't know, whatever. But Tyler Huntley, I got Dolphins.
All right, then we got the Seahawks at the Lions, which we already picked. So that would complete everything for this lovely episode. The NFL Pregame Report. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in, everybody that checks out the replay. Appreciate TJ, Jake, and Cedric. My bad, Jake. You sound like a guy that we used to be on the show with me with Ced. You remember Alex? He sounds a lot like Alex.
Oh yeah,
so yeah. So my bad, Jake. But yeah. So we'll be back next week. Every week throughout the season. Shout out to Shady Sports Network. Shout out to Sports Wave Network. Shout out to all these wonderful guys. Come on this week and every week. And, we are out. Any last words from anyone before we are done?
Enjoy NFL Sunday and go Lions, go Tigers.
No Bears? Oh, my.
Bears aren't here.
I'll see you guys next week when the Steelers are 4-0.
Oh, big bowl. I'll see you guys next week when the Broncos are 2. Nah, come talk to me tonight, son. After the Broncos win, I'll be on Shady Sports Network. Come chat with me, 7 p.m. Me, Justin, Shawnee, and whoever else wants to come join us in the round table. We'll be talking fantasy football, though, so we'll be catching you up on these scores and telling you about how these rookie quarterbacks are killing it. So 303 Bandwagon at 303 Bandwagon and Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. Come talk with us.
We'd love
3-1. We'll be 3-1 going into the bye in week 5 to get healthy and come out and cause trouble for the rest of the season.
Hey.
We'll see y'all next week. Be here or be square.